Today we're talking about water and sewer bills. Now, you may have noticed your bill lately has been for a longer period of time than it normally is. And we've got the director of the Public Utilities Department, David Jurgens, here to help us understand why. So, David, what are the billing periods normally and what are we looking at right now?
So a normal billing period ranges between 55 and 69 days.
Okay. And what are we looking at right now?
Now what we're seeing is almost all of our customers are going to end up receiving a bill that's somewhere above that 69, typically in the 70s. We have a few that hit 80 days, but the vast majority will receive a bill that's in the 70 to 79 day range.
Okay. What happened?
Well, it's a series of things. First of all, we changed our billing software and changed our rate structure simultaneous as of October 1st. So in preparation for that, we had actually reduced our billing period, but then we had some other factors come in. But that billing structure and software change has caused us to be a little slow. We wanted to make sure we were accurate, so we double-checked every bill independently of the billing software to make sure the numbers were correct and the math was correct. But that cost us 2 to 3 days for every bill, just of delay. Secondly, I had a couple meter readers leave at the same time. That was not anticipated. So when they left, I've only got a 7-person team, being 2 people down for departure and 1 person down for an injury means that we're reading those 72,000 meters every billing period, every 2 months. We're having to read those with 4 people instead of 7.
Wow. And the timing, I'm sure, of when all this went down with holidays and such.
The timing, November is our hardest month because of all of the different holidays. We lose a full week of work time in November, and then we lose more days in December and January. Plus, honestly, the weather is a challenge as well because it's harder to read them when it's cold. It's hard to read meters under snow. Thank goodness it doesn't appear to be happening. And it's hard to read meters when we get really big rains and storms like we've had lately. Because when a meter's underwater, it just takes more time to physically be able to read that meter, which also slows us down.
So as you said, it was sort of a series of a lot of stuff happening at once. We had the stuff that we expect can happen, like not enough folks to read the meters, the holidays, so we don't have the time. But it really was that new rate structure, that billing software, putting in the extra time and effort to make sure it was accurate. And just the newness simply slowed us down.
That's correct.
How are we solving this moving forward? How long are we going to have to worry about these extended periods?
So we're increasing staff. We're working more weekends. We're working a lot of overtime. Some of it's mandatory, some of it's voluntary overtime. That's for our billing team as well as for our meter reading team so that we can make sure all aspects of the process move faster. It's going to take us about 3 to 4 more weeks to get caught up. So what's going to happen is we are now currently at about 75 days. We're going to gradually shrink that back down into that normal 55 to 69 day range. And we're planning to shrink that down over the next few months, over the next several cycles, to where we're reading most of them in around the 55 to 56 day range, so that this one larger bill is going to be offset by future smaller bills to where we get back on schedule.
So let's talk about that direct customer impact. So, I receive a bill, it's for more days, therefore more money. But the trick is this new rate structure. So I'm looking at my bill thinking I should have gotten another 10 consumptions at that lower rate had they been on time. Talk to me about how that's not necessarily true.
Okay, so that you're exactly right, and that's a conversation I've had with many customers. They see the bill, it's for a longer period of time, therefore they've used more water. Therefore the number of dollars goes up because they've used more water. And they're thinking we should be getting some of that water at the lower rate. So that lower rate only applies one time for the first 10 consumptions per bill. The next billing cycle, they'll have that same 10 consumptions at the lower rate. So in each of their bills, they'll still be getting those 10 consumptions at the lower rate. And as we compress those billing cycles in the future down to the 55, 56 days, they'll see those 10 consumptions, they'll see that lower rate for those first 10 consumptions.
So big picture over the span of, say, about a year, we will still be getting the same 10 consumptions repeated, say 6-ish times.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll still be getting that same amount at that same rate. It's just kind of heavily weighted in this bill right now because of the extended period of time.
It's the consumptions above that 10 that are heavily weighted right now.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
the above the
And
10.
that's what's going to lower down,
And
even
that will
out.
lower down in the subsequent billing periods.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
correct.
Now, what about for those folks who never go above 10?
So for those customers who always hover anywhere from 5 to 10, who don't go above 10 or who rarely go above 10, what this longer billing period might do to them is cause some of their consumption to go into that higher tier, that higher rate. We are going to credit their bills for the amount that increased the amount that they were billed. We are going to credit it to offset that amount. And it's going to take no work on the customer's part. It is going to be transparent. It's going to happen behind the scenes. I already have the spreadsheet for 2023, so we can evaluate it and then start applying those credits as soon as we finish that analysis.
Okay.
And that will take no action on the customer's part to do that credit.
So folks who really did pay more than they would have are going to get that credit.
Correct.
For the rest of us, which I have to imagine is most, we are going to have this larger bill now, but it will even out at the end. And you have some ways to help us with payment plans and no fees and that sort of stuff.
Correct. As soon as we saw this happening, we eliminated penalties and interest on all these billing cycles that are above 69 consumptions.
Okay.
We're not charging any P&I for those. And we're happy to allow customers to take more time to pay their bill because it's a bigger chunk and it's right at Christmas, so it hurts even more. So they can take more time to pay that bill and then get caught up. So we're making payment plans in order to give the customer more time to make up for our circumstances. It's no fault of theirs. It's our circumstance that caused that bill to be higher, so they can take more time to pay that.
Okay. So we're helping out with credits where they're applicable. We're doing payment plans. We want to hear from folks, right?
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing about talking about this stuff in generalities is that each account is different. And, depending on who they call at the city, like if they were to go through the communications office, I can't look up their account. So they really have to go through the public utilities customer service folks, right?
Yeah.
So they can look at their individual account.
Yeah. So what a customer can do, and what several customers have done that I've communicated with, is look back over their last few bills. If their usage is always above 10 consumptions, then they're going to end up paying the same amount in the long run, more now with this bill and less in the future bills, until we get caught up and on schedule. If your consumptions are sometimes at or below 10 consumptions, then you might be seeing that credit.
Okay. David, what else? What have we missed?
Please be patient with this. This is taking a lot of our customer service time. It's taking a lot of explanation. The bills look different because of the new rate structure. The bill, if you look at a bill from last September and a bill from December, January, they look different because they show the rate structure. We're trying to be as transparent as we can to show all of how we calculate the bill so that it's very clear and logical, and you can look at the ordinance and compare the two and it makes perfect sense. But it's a different structure than what we had before, so it's not apples and oranges when you compare an old bill and a current bill. If you look at the old bills, look at the number of consumptions. That's going to tell you if you're going to be paying an extra amount over the long period or on this bigger bill. If your consumptions are always 12, 13, 14, 15, then it's not going to have any effect in terms of the long term, but this one bill is going to be higher because it's for a longer period.
Okay. Yeah, the bill is detailed now, we can say. I mean, we've got multiple decimal points, which looks like a lot at first glance, but the good thing about that is it is so transparent. It's literally down to like the fifth or sixth decimal point for some of those costs. So that really was an effort to just be as accurate
and
possible.
transparent as possible.
All right.
Yes.
David Juergens, we're going to direct folks to the Public Utilities Customer Service, to the website, send you an email. We're going to get all these questions answered. And like you said, we just ask for some patience while we work through this.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.